Hello all dear friends. I hope we have all had a great week. Welcome to our weekly communities of practice Sunday check-in session, a half hour of Dharma, reflection, and community connections. If you are a new member of our community, please accept our wholehearted welcome and know that if you are unsure or have any questions about our practices and topics, we are all here to help. And if you are a regular, well, welcome back. So it is customary in Australia to begin any meeting by acknowledging the traditional owners of our land. So in the spirit of reconciliation, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we work, study, and reside, the Wudi people of the Dharma Nation, and pay my respects to elders, past, present, and emerging. I also pay my respects to the traditional custodians of the various lands on which you all are. So the check-in sessions has been developed by our communities of practice team and the entire community. These sessions aim to develop a reflective practice in response to changes. Guided by humanistic Buddhism, we would like to cultivate our practices and build memorable friendships. And this week, before I revealing and introducing our amazing speaker, let me help you to do a brief meditation together. So let's try first, all close our eyes and try to sit comfortably. After you feel comfortable and relaxed, let's slowly take a deep breath. Breath in and breath out. Slowly, without any judgment. And now, let's focus our attention on the tip of the nose and just watch the miracle of your breath moving in and out. Can you feel it? Let's do this one more time. Breath in and breath out. Okay. Now, when you are ready, please open your eyes and smile. So last week, our Sunshine Xiaomeng shared with us how Dharma and the NTI community has lit up the path of her life. This week, we have invited a very powerful speaker, Janne. She will courageously and gently introduce her inner child to us. So during Janne's sharing, we invite you to listen deeply and appreciate the twists and turns that human life offers, using this amazing opportunity to practice turning off our inner chatter and being completely present. So now, let's welcome Janne.
Thank you for this honor. I'm grateful. There have been many turning points in my life and many times when I have lost my direction. Some of the faces on this slide may be familiar to you. In one way or another, these people have had an impact on my life. Many faces are missing, important faces. The faces of my parents, for example, who gifted to me, amongst other things, a moral compass, which I've tried, certainly in the latter part of my life, to polish and use as a guide to understanding why I lost direction in the past and how I can re-find my way if I lose direction into the future. Like the everyday compass, the moral compass is not a fail-safe piece of equipment, Both compass and moral compass can be corrupted, even damaged beyond repair. The little girl in these photographs was born happy. I am looking now at a picture of this little girl. She is wearing a long white dress and has a ring of flowers on her head. She's now 9 years old. A small boy of the same age, dressed in a tuxedo, stands next to her. Between the ages of 9 and 12, unbeknown to her dear parents, this little girl was subjected to repeated sexual assaults. These episodes were a turning point for this little girl. Unable to speak out, she felt shame and anger, and in her teens, she was rebellious. Her rebellion was not understood. It broke hearts and caused disappointment. When her parents learned of what had happened to her as a child, they were grief-stricken. Her father passed away shortly thereafter. She blamed herself for his death, even though it was not her fault. Being diagnosed with anorexia nervosa at age 21 was a turning point. Anorexia nervosa is a chronic and insidious illness characterized by a distorted body image associated with an unwarranted fear of being overweight, below normal weight through starvation and too much exercise, the perfectionist gene, poor self-esteem, depression, all symptoms, and research indicates the root cause is frequently sexual assault. She was told she would never have children. It took her 15 years to recover from this illness, if one ever truly recovers. She still feels sick if she's asked to stand on a set of scales. She struggles to refrain from checking the calorie intake on the back of a tub of yogurt. She carefully manages her exercise regime and, if deeply distressed over something, battles to keep food in her stomach. Finding a caring husband, defying the odds and giving birth to 3 children, and watching her grandchildren grow and flourish. Important turning points. Losing a lot of money to a federal government project which was horribly mismanaged was a turning point. She blew the whistle and paid the price. Faced with the choice of suing the government, that is, the people of Australia, or finding something else to do with her life, her inner child came to the rescue. I'm so grateful for that inner child. That child is a trusted friend. That child believes in me and in my potential. And when I doubt myself, that child reminds me that everything and anything is possible. I elected not to sue the government, even though I had a good case, perhaps even a watertight case. Yet I continued to agonize over the decision as I lost so much money that could have made my children's lives easier on my passing. Again, I felt guilty. I felt ashamed. I felt angry. What was I going to do with my life? Well, I went to university. Going to university was a turning point for me. I learned to think. I valued and continue to value the lives of my teachers who were and are so patient and tolerant and kind towards me, who, like the inner child, believed in my capacity to become a better me, and who so generously and compassionately forgave my ignorance. In the first 2 years at university, 2006 to 2007, I struggled to write 300 words. I wrote the first 2 paragraphs of Lindrum, the Uncrowned King in 2007. The book was published for the first time in 2016. The project is far from complete. It is a work in progress and there is still much to be done. One of my examiners dubbed my project a labour of love, but the text was not written by a devoted daughter purely to honour a much-loved father, although it might be argued that was the case. To the contrary, it was written to hold a family story together. Meeting Abbas Manco was a turning point for me. During one of our meetings, I expressed frustration with what I shall call the system which fails to address dysfunction in our society. Abbas Manco told me the story of the log that floats downstream only to run into obstruction. The log gently pushes against the obstruction. It might take many attempts to free itself, but gentle, persistent effort, much like gentle, persistent persuasion, eventually pays off. I continuously remind myself of this wonderful story. I will not reach my nirvana this time around. That's sad. I must return to learn the lessons I failed to learn in this life. But I hope I will not be doomed like the mythical ghost ship, the Flying Dutchman, doomed to sail the 7 seas of life forever, never able to find a port. Currently, this restless soul is completing a graduate honours law degree at Griffith University Law School. Rooted in Western philosophy and the Western concept of the rule of law, the course has provided me with a better understanding of why our world is facing the problems it currently faces. But it is Buddha's teachings that will enable us to alter our predicament. Like the log that is stuck on its journey down the river, change will not occur overnight. Persistence is key. As Chris Saslowski points out in his beautifully written lyrics, the Dharma wheel of life holds the key. Now we open the session to all your questions that you have. How well do you know your inner child? Do you think you can reach your nirvana? How can you help others to reach their nirvana?
Thank you so much, Jen, for this very powerful story. And we really appreciate your inner child and to listening to the story of how you're getting along and cultivating her. So now let's bring those questions in mind and join our discussion. So now we will be placed in groups of 3 to 4 to share and discuss. In the discussion, we recommend you spend some time getting to know each other and then discussing our questions. There will be some Zoom notifications to guide you, but please feel free to let the flow of your discussion guide you. Our sessions are guided by metta, which is unconditional love and kindness for all sentient beings. Let's use these breakout sessions to express and receive loving kindness to and from one another, and take time to pause, share, and listen. We'll also ask you to share some of your findings with the larger group at the end of the breakout discussion. So now, let's go to our breakout rooms for rich and nourishing discussions. See you all back in 15 minutes. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you all had a wonderful discussion. And now, as usual, we encourage you to write down your reflections or any ideas that you have gained from Jen's story or your discussion, and type your ideas in the chat box, and then Jen will read a few. And so thank you. Please take your time to write, and I invite Jen to unmute yourself and read a few comments from the chat.
Thank you, Yushen. Well, the inner child is the clear light or the dusty mirror that got muddied by years and years of conditioning. It's just karma at work, and it's our job to undo it and return home to ourselves. Then we can help others do the same. That's lovely. Thank you so much, Jen. It takes such courage, diligence, and wisdom to find and continue to listen to your inner child, indeed. That's something we talked about in the breakout room, that knowing ourselves and continue to listen and find ourselves. Acceptance of what they are and compassion towards loving kindness and wholeheartedly supports them. That's beautiful. Encouraged by keep cultivating the right efforts, thoughts, and the basic of 3 Gs: do good deeds, good thoughts, and good speech. Wonderful story of triumph, Jen. Oh, thank you very much, Michael. Inspirational. Thank you very much. You know that, please keep them coming. Knowing your inner child is getting to know the deeper end of yourself. Take time and never stop knowing about yourself. I think that's lovely. Self-reflection and accepting what people are. Seeing their positive sides. Yes, indeed, Annie. Seeing the positive sides. I think that's really important. So easy to see the negative and to play the negative. But to reverse it is not easy. We have to all work at that one. These are lovely comments. These are lovely, lovely comments. Thank you.
So thank you, Jen. Now I will continue to show some of other announcements and help us to all do the dedication of merits. And then after that, we will have a bigger discussions. So please allow me to share my screen first. So we really hope the check-in session was helpful to you, and we hope you experienced the unconditional love and compassion of this community. But for anyone who might be experiencing a greater need than what they could meet, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. And you can also reach out to the professional organizations on the screen. And as Venerable Joey introduced an important practice last week, vigilant introspection, on November 23rd, she will present this concept at Metta Center with the topic from vigilant inspection to vigilant introspection, lessons from cyber world. This workshop will examine the relevance of Santidella's teaching based on today's cyber world and offer the opportunity for participants to review the applications of Dharma in daily life. And also, NTI Institute invite all of us to join the Managing Mindfully program, which will help us to develop self-awareness and develop skills to manage all aspects of work and life. And Dr. Nadine is offering 4 weekly sessions delivered via Zoom, starting from November 30th. And next Sunday, we will invite Li Ping, who one of our dedicated COP volunteers, to share her turning point story, Bees of Veggies. Li Ping is a director at youth organization with international experience, and she has based in various locations. She also served as a consultant for multinational companies, and she's also started to volunteer at Nantian Temple since 2000, being a founding president of the youth group at Nantian Temple. So as we check out today, let's recite the dedication of merits together to send love and compassion to whoever in need.
Let us now dedicate the goodness of what you have done to all living beings. May kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity pervade all worlds. May we cherish and build affinities to benefit all beings. May Chan, Pure Land, and precepts inspire equality and patience. May our gratitude and humility give rise to great vows.
So first, thanks Jen for her generous sharing, and thank you everyone for joining us. So now we will end recording and have our usual plenary session. So please stay around if we have time. Otherwise, see you all again next Sunday at 11 a.m.